I'm here to give a brief overview of what we do at Cook's Children's Behavioral Health. Thank you for giving me this opportunity. Starting off, that's our inpatient and partial hospital in the main campus of the hospital at 801 7th Avenue. We are the 6th floor of the newly constructed South Tower. This was possible, this is a new unit that was possible thanks to a lot of community donors, including Reese Jones Foundation, as well as the support of our hospital. It's a bit of a crowded slide, but we'll be going through this a little bit more in detail, which gives an overview of what we do at Behavioral Health Services in Cook's Children. Typically, an evaluation by intake department leads to patient services either at outpatient psychology, psychiatry, or our partial hospitalization program, or at the inpatient psychiatry services. Beyond that, we do offer services for patients who are in the hospital for medical reasons, which includes in the form of clinical therapy services and psychiatric consultations by our physicians. We have a program for oncology, the adolescent young adult program, which again serves a particular need there. We are also proud of our homeless shelter initiative. We offer services in 3 homeless shelters across the DFW. And we have a high-risk case management program for patients who get discharged from our inpatient services. So a bit more in detail, our clinic is present in 6 different locations. We have 6 providers. We do psychiatric evaluation and medication management services over a wide array of disorders, as you can see on this on the left bottom. We are proud about our telepsychiatry services, which has expanded our footprint. We are able to serve patients as far away as in Waco or San Angelo or Tyler or Abilene, and we had close to 9,000 encounters in 2016. Our outpatient psychology department provides a lot of evidence-based psychology therapy, cognitive behavioral therapy, trauma-focused cognitive behavioral therapy, and collaborative problem solving are some of the therapies. And they are spread over 2 counties. They also offer a wide variety of testing, including neuropsychological testing for children who have had in utero exposure to drugs or have had organic brain damage. Our inpatient psychiatric services are equipped to handle children up to age 12 years of age. Average age of children treated in 2016 was 9, a little bit older than 9 years of age, and they stayed for closer to 6 years. It's a 15-bedded unit, but we treated about 450 patients last calendar year. We have some pictures of our waiting room on the left and the family therapy room on the right. And again, more pictures about where we have our group therapy and as well as our rounding on the top left. And then on your top right, you can see the treatment team station. That's a typical patient room. This one is what we call a low stimulation area for children who have autism and intellectual delays. This came with collaboration from rehab services. And we have our own gym on this floor so that kids can benefit from behavioral activation while they're getting services. On the same floor is also our partial hospitalization program, which treats children again from 5 through 17, 20 patient capacity. Slightly older children, as you can see, 10 and a half roughly of age, and average length that they get the treatment is about close to 2 weeks. More pictures about the waiting room for the partial hospitalization program and the group therapy, and kids attend school while they're here, so you can see a typical classroom there. And the program goes from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m., Monday through Friday. Okay, so what happens is when when we get any phone call or any assessment, that usually goes through intake services. They are our front line, and they do telephone triage, coordination, as well as referral for services. And if you were to look at these numbers, close to 20,000 phone calls in 2016, and close to 2,300 face-to-face behavioral health assessments done in the emergency room by a master's level clinician. And the last month's data was much higher. We are talking about 3,000 phone calls and close to 300 face-to-face assessments. So really busy there. And this is our triage, telephone triage rooms. And these are our behavioral health rooms in the emergency department, specifically designed for patients who have a behavioral crisis. As you can see, it's lacking a lot of medical equipment for a specific reason. Clinical therapy. So the kids who are in our ICU or medical floors or in various specialties receiving medical care are seen by our master's level therapists during their stay. Physicians are also involved in providing consultation on diagnosis or use of psychotropic medications. And as you can see, that was close to 12,500 patient encounters in 2016. Offices for the clinical therapists, where they see their patients. We have quite a few collaboratives going on. As I mentioned, the children who have developmental delays like autism or intellectual delays, they receive more than medications and counseling. Part of our American Academy of Child and Adolescent Psychiatry guidelines specifies need for speech therapy, occupational therapy, all of which is part of their treatment plan when they are in our inpatient floors. The second one is the emergency department. Any child older than 10 who presents for whatever the reason it could be to the emergency room gets an evidence-based suicidal screening tool. The third initiative is our 3 North, which is a medical floor, has specifically trained behavioral care partners to help with patients who have medical needs but are also going through a behavioral crisis. They also have an integrated clinical therapist. What's not on your slide, we are also a training site for electives for 4th-year medical students. A summary of what we do. Across the board, we try to use evidence-based practices, whether it's cognitive behavioral therapy, whether it's trust-based relational interventions or play therapy. Our staff goes through competency-based training to assess, intervene, and prevent suicide. And we are also proud to have a case management program that identifies high-risk patients and follows them, which has brought down the readmission rate significantly, 14.4% decrease since July of 2014. We realized like about 85% of the patients we end up seeing in our inpatient and partial programs have been through some sort of trauma. We are looking into measuring the adverse childhood experiences of these patients through a study. Now, I don't know if it's politically correct to say that you have a favorite staff member, someone who has got a calming effect by their mere presence, but I'm going to take the risk. Presenting to you Lulu, our therapy dog. I really envy her role. She is able to give unconditionally as a healer. So as you can see, we do a lot, but the challenges are huge, and there's a lot more to be done. It requires a partnership with the community, and I'm so happy to see all of you out here, and thank you for your time, your support, and your attention.